Yes, I had originally made 2 live streams with this video, and the first live stream is not showing up on mobile, and the other place that I looked was on the browser, where I recorded it using the desktop view. And it is showing up on the browser, but it is not playing. And so that video is not playing. And this video, the sound is completely not there. And I don't know what happened, but I'm going to have to just use this particular video. And a lot of the things I said in the other 2 videos, this one and the first one, unfortunately won't be heard. So I'm just going to record on this video some of the things that I was expressing in the 2 live videos that I made tonight. Well, this video was supposed to be about me and how my gang stalking had started. So, unfortunately, I had a lot of good things in both of the videos, but this one didn't have sound to it, and the other one is not playing. I don't know what's going on with that one. So I'm going to add audio to this video. I'm going to use this video and just add audio to it. Between 2009 to 2010, I was a part of what was considered a political activist group online, and its views may have been considered a bit extreme to others that opposed it. Well, after a few months of being with this group, I started noticing weird things happening online to me. As time has gone by, I began to realize that I was being cyberbullied and gaslighted. And that may be what's going on with these videos as well. The reason the first one is not playing on YouTube, that my first live stream, and then it went off, and I had to make a second part to it to continue what I was saying. And now this video right here would be the second part, but none of the audio is there. It's totally gone. So this could be because of me being gang stalked. They could have done something behind the scenes to affect my videos. So that could be what's going on. I'm not sure. So to go on with what I was saying, after a few months of being with this group, I started noticing weird things happening online to me. And as time has gone by, I began to realize that I was being cyberbullied and gaslighted. Okay, I think I already said that. Now, in hindsight, and everything that has played out over the years, I realized that the gang stalking may have started even before I joined this online political group, because I look back and recall that a couple of years before joining this group, I had noticed weird behavior towards me online after expressing some views that may not have been popular, or perhaps I rubbed someone or others in the wrong way. I noticed I was being banned or cyberbullied in some other online activities around 2008, but after joining this political group, which now I believe may have been COINTELPRO or some type of online PSYOP from its beginning, or perhaps became one soon after I joined. Whatever the case may have been, I have reasons to think that the persons who started the group, or the person that started the group, was and still is a cult leader who was involved in drugs and criminal activities. behind the scenes and was using that platform to recruit and indoctrinate naive and or criminal-minded people to join his wicked cult. I also have reason to conclude that the creator of this group is the one who ratted me out and had me put on the domestic terrorist list out of jealousy and anger towards me, because he sent me his phone number in a message and I didn't call him, but instead I sent him a message and sent him my phone number and said that, well, if he really wanted to talk to me, and as a man, I thought that it would be more proper for him to call me, or it would make more sense if he was really interested in me to call me rather than me calling him. And so perhaps that rubbed him the wrong way and made him angry. And so after that, I noticed that he stopped communications with me, and I sent him a few messages about what I had said, and he either he blocked me or he didn't answer my messages. He played the silent treatment game on me, and so he didn't respond to any of my messages after that. So I'm like, well, if this guy really wanted to talk to me, why would he, instead of calling me, if he really wanted to talk to me, why did he give me the silent treatment? So I've come to the conclusion over the years, thinking about it and everything, that this guy wanted me to chase him. And I also realized from the videos that this person has made after that incident and over the years, that he is a narcissistic misogynist and degenerate. I also started noticing after doing certain things in my own personal life, like in the place I was staying at that time, I was doing things and I was there on my own and by myself, but yet these couple of things that I noticed that I had done, all of a sudden he had made videos on these particular subjects. And I thought that was really weird how that happened. And for instance, I used to write poetry, and I had decided to go over my collection and rewrite some of my work that I had at the time, and also come up with some new poems as well. All of a sudden, this guy made a video about poetry, although the group was supposed to be about political activities and things of that nature. In the video, he was with a group of his peers, I suppose, and they were gathering at some little cafe or venue, and he had made some introduction about how he was into poetry and had brought this group together at this venue to read their particular pieces of poetry that I noticed was based on, things having to do with the group that, we were a part of, like the political leanings as well as the culture that this group was based in. And after, different people would read their poetry, then he would come up to the podium, if I'm recalling correctly, and, he would say some things about the person that had read the poetry and so forth, or some other things he wanted to say. But he himself didn't go up to the podium and read any poetry. So I'm like, well, for someone who's into poetry, I wonder why he didn't read any himself, but he had others read poetry. And I was like, well, soon after I started doing this in my own, personal and private place, he comes up with this video about poetry. And then, in another incident, this involved me doing some tarot card work with a deck that I had been given by a family member who has over time become a gang stalker as well as the rest of my family has also. So, but at this time, this family member had given me a deck of tarot cards that they said that they didn't really resonate with, so they decided to give them to me. So what I decided to do to break in this deck of cards was to do a reading on the guy that had created this group. So I did a reading on him, and something came up that said abuse of technology. Someone abusing technology, along with some other things that it said in the reading. So basically the reading was saying that he was abusing technology and possibly doing some things that were illegal and unethical. And so I was like, okay, abusing technology. And now, in hindsight, knowing that gang stalkers abuse technology, the government, military, and police use technology to spy on, do surveillance, and listen to targeted individuals. Now I've connected that all together. I'm like, oh, so that must be what it is, that this guy was a part of my gang stalking in the beginning of my gang stalking, and he must have been spying on me and listening to me as well in my residence. And I think that before I moved into this residence, because I had been evicted from my prior residence and had to move across town from the south side of the city way to the north side of the city. And I'm thinking that they had went into that apartment before I got there and planted some devices so that they could watch me and listen to me. And I am under the impression over time through my experiences and doing, my spiritual work using tarot cards, playing cards, and other oracles, that I may have been being gang stalked even before then, 2009, which is when I came across this guy online. When I first saw him, he had 1 or 2 channels on YouTube, and then I had messaged him, and I think he had messaged me back, or perhaps he didn't. I don't recall that part, whether he had messaged me back or not. But soon after that, he came up with his own website just that quick. A website just that quick after talking to me. And I think he had invited me to join the website, to join his group that he was creating. And so I did. And I know when I first saw him, I was like, wow, this guy is really powerful in his actions and his words and the things he was saying. I was enthralled and intrigued with, because I had never heard anybody speak that way before, or about the subjects he was speaking about. And I was just in the throes of coming out of Christianity over the past couple of years, like starting maybe in 2005, I was starting to change my mind about the religion I had grew up, being taught about by my mother and others that was in the congregation that I was a part of. And even in that was a Christian group, but it was an outcast from other Christian groups. And all people know about Jehovah's Witnesses, and so everybody over the years has tended to have an issue with them. And they are a Christian group, but they are the outcasts from other Christians, like Baptists and I can't even recall, all Catholics and Protestants and all the Catholic groups, Christian groups, tend to look down on Jehovah's Witnesses. So even at that, I was in what would be considered, I guess, the rebel group. I've always been in the things that were different. But even with that, I started coming out of Christianity, and I started, getting messages through my dreams and even a vision to come away from that and start going towards the things I started going towards, which was Egyptology, Buddhism, and Taoism. So I started going into a whole different direction with my religion and spirituality. And over time, I've come out of religion and I'm just a spiritual person. Because you can only go so far in religion. And originally, there were no religions, it was just spirituality. And so that's the purest form of honoring yourself, ancestors, and spirit, and the Most High, and the soul. So that's where I'm at now in my life. So as I was, surfing around and looking around, trying to find out about these different things that was coming to me, I came across this guy online, and that was in 2009. And was watching his videos on YouTube, and then soon afterwards, like I said, he came up with this website, his own website, just that quick. And I was like, wow, that was fast. So, okay, going back to the fact that I did a tarot reading on him. And then soon after I did that tarot reading on him, he made a video about tarot cards and how they were bad and evil and was connected to witchcraft and sorcery and things of that nature, and were of the devil, or whatever terms he had used at that time. And so I was kind of conflicted about it at that time because, a lot of things was coming in. I was going through a lot of changes, moving way across town. Then I was living by myself for the first time ever. I was living by myself and not with family or other people, which was basically all of my life I had lived with family. And then when I left home, I moved in with the father of my first two children and his family for a couple of years. And then I moved back home with my mother after I had my first two children. And, then I got pregnant again with a third child while I was living with my mother. And then stayed with her for a year or two, a couple of years or so, and then finally moved into my own place. So, and I stayed there for 11 years, and then I was evicted. The woman used the excuse that my son was just causing too much trouble, but I know that wasn't it. I think this was some type of revenge on me for reporting things that was going on at the apartments that was not being tended to and should have been being tended to. And I think because of that, I got I got singled out, and me being evicted was just some type of punishment or revenge on me for reporting things around the apartment complex. And so I moved across town. I was living by myself mostly. My oldest offspring and my youngest offspring came to stay with me a little while over the two years and I think 4 months that I was there, for a small amount of time. And then the eldest one moved in with the middle child into the apartment complex that I'm currently in now. And the eldest is still in these apartments and has been here since I think 2012 or so. 2012, 2011, 2012, something like that. And still is here, while the middle one that the oldest offspring had moved here with, has since, has been here, back and forth a couple of times, but mostly has been living in other places outside of this complex, so lives in a different place. Now recently moved closer to this complex, but in another one, in some townhomes near here. But, they are part of my targeting as well. They gang stalked me as well and have been for at least the past 11 years. I'm not sure about if they were a part of it before then, but I know definitely it's been 11 years that they have been a part of it. And I think this guy, too, that I'm talking about may have contacted them personally and met them personally and have had dealings with them over the years personally. And I've come to find out over time that this guy is a cult leader. And I think that my family is a part of the cult. Well, they have to be if they are gang stalkers. But personally, dealing with this guy. So, I had so many good things that I shared in the live streams, the part 1 and part 2. And it's unfortunate that you won't be able to hear the other things that I shared. Because the first one is showing on there, at least on the desktop version and on the browser, but it's not playing. And it's not showing up at all on mobile. I don't know what's going on with that. And it could have something to do with me being gang stalked. They could have done that, maybe on YouTube, or maybe the gang stalkers or the police or whatever, because they watch everything I do. So they may have interfered and done something to, interrupt or affect what I was doing because they didn't want my message to get out. So I'm having to record over this particular video, the only one that did play on there, but the audio was missing. So I'll just share what I can on this one. So he comes up with a video talking against tarot cards after I did a tarot card reading on him in the privacy, or what I thought was the privacy of the residence I was in at that time, which also I got evicted out of those apartments after living there for almost 2.5 years. And I think that had to do with me being gang stalked as well, and I was being gang stalked there definitely. And this guy, I believe, was over time, excuse me for that, with the oracles and everything that I've done and watching this guy's videos and everything that has happened to me over time, I really feel that this guy is the bridge to the beginning of the major gang stalking campaign against me, and he used me to bring himself up on his platforms and to make money off of me by gang stalking me, recruiting others to gang stalk me in his cult, and also helping the government, police, and military, which he has ties with, to do this to me, to bring himself up in his platforms. And also, I have been told that this guy is involved and has been involved in criminal activities, and that he was on drugs himself and on cocaine. I've seen several videos of other people saying things about him being on drugs, and I talked to another guy personally back then at that time who told me that it was, going around, the story was going around that this guy was using cocaine, and that's why he did a lot of fidgeting and moving in some of his earlier videos, like when he was sitting down and talking, and he was on cocaine while he was doing the videos, which is why he was so excited and talking with such verve and kind of almost really like shouting while he was doing the videos and doing a lot of, bouncing around and wiggling in his chairs and where he was sitting at. And over the years, I come to find out, not only was he doing drugs, but that he has a problem with alcoholism, or he had a problem with, I don't know if he's still doing drugs and using alcohol, but he was at that time and over the years. I don't know if he's doing it now. But, so that would explain a lot of, also possibly why he had me gang stalk, from being angry at me for not calling him, for looking for a way to get himself, a platform and become, well known and get money for his habits as well. So it makes sense to me. And so they call a person like that, like the person that got you on the list to begin with, or was the bridge between you and the government, the military, or whatever. The first person that ratted you out, they called them the rat. And I'm sure he's a handler in my campaign and has been for quite some time. So, all of this time, I have come to the conclusion from everything that I've gone through in my experiences and knowledge and everything, that he has been surveilling me, spying on me, and having others to do it, and that he's a narcissistic misogynist. And narcissists look for people that they want to victimize. And I feel that he was going to try to get me in his cult, groom me, possibly try to sleep with me or whatever, create this false and fake relationship with me, and then dump me and discard me like narcissists do. But since I didn't fall for the okie doke from the beginning, he got mad and decided to put me on this list. Now, they could have come to him because he had this platform and asked him to help them to single out people that was a threat to the government and the corporations and whatever, and made a deal with him. Or maybe he was COINTELPRO all along and was already an Agent Smith when I saw him online, and was on there with the purpose of doing these things in the first place. Either way, he's a part of my gang stalking. So I noticed that over time I was being, like, the places I was going to, the stores I was going to, places I was going, weird people mentioning things I had said in private, coming sitting by me on buses or whatever, saying or repeating things I had said. Police showing up in parking lots, just sitting there at stores I would go to, or places I would go to in the neighborhood or wherever. You know, just all these things was happening over time. And I'm looking at my notes because I had notes when I was doing the video, but I also was saying things, you know, coming from my spirit as well. And it would have really been nice for you all to hear those things, but for some odd reason, you know, the things I've already explained to you. But while I'm saying this, I only have about 9 minutes left, so I would like for you to like, share, and subscribe to these videos. Like them, subscribe, and share them. And also, in the description box, I have my Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo. And I would really appreciate if you all would donate, because I haven't eaten in about 4 or 5 days. Being a targeted individual, I've been shadow banned, blackballed, and blacklisted, and it is keeping me from being able to make money, take care of myself, feed myself a lot of times. And a lot of times I go hungry for days because I don't have the money to feed myself because of being a targeted individual. And these people are really trying to unalive me. And so I would really appreciate anybody who has it within them to do the right thing and who still has a soul and a good heart to please help me out, because I really could use a good meal, and my gas has been off about 4 or 5 months now. My electricity has been cut on and off, on and off, on and off several times for the past year to year and a half now. And I try to make sure I keep that on as much as possible, but I have not been able to pay my gas bills, so I have not been able to cook a hot meal for 4 or 5 months, and I've only had a couple of hot meals that somebody else made for me, who is a gang stalker as well, and has over time put chemicals and poison in my food. Sometimes they don't, but most of the time they do. So it's like really playing Russian roulette, eating anything that they bring to me or give me whenever they do help me out. And the only reason I go to them because, you know, sometimes things just get so bad that I just need help and nobody's helping me. So this person, sometimes I have to resort to going to them and asking them for help, because I know that, you know, for the most part they will give me food items, but I know it's with the purpose of trying to get poison or whatever they are putting in my food, chemicals, poisons, drugs, or whatever, as a part of my gang stalking campaign. It's a good way to get poison in me, making me ill and, you know, damaging me on the inside and eventually unaliving me, which is what everyone involved in this really wants. Because I guess they're trying to get a bag off of me. They think they're going to get a bag, some insurance or something off of unaliving me and sacrificing me to the wicked spirits and the bad god and devil that they worship. Even the Bible says the devil is the ruler of this world, and he is a bad god. There are good gods and bad ones. And also, in the description box, I will put that poetry that I finally was able to self-publish, the poetry I was talking about. I was finally able, after all of these years, 20 years or more, to finally self-publish those poems. So I'm going to put the Amazon link in the description box as well. So, going on with the 4 minutes I have left here, let me see. So there's no way that anyone could say that this guy making these videos about things I was doing in private was coincidences, because there's no such thing. So it's obvious that this guy has been a part of my gang stalking from the start, which has been with him being involved 15 years, but I am under the impression that I was being gang stalked before then as well. Shoot, it could have been from birth, because my mother told me something when I was younger, when I was a teenager or a young adult, that the devil tried to keep me from being born into this world. That's some kind of statement. And looking at everything that has happened to me, yeah, I think she was right. The devil didn't even want me to be born in this world. And since I've been here, all I've had is issues and problems. And so I really feel like she was being gang stalked as well, because she told me a few times that the police was following her and that people was watching her. And the same thing has been happening to me, so I think I may have inherited her problems, if that's the case. So I just think I come from a family, or at least my mother being gang stalked, and it being transferred over to me as being her daughter. So I could have been being gang stalked all my life, and just it being, once I started waking up, you know, just like in the movie They Live, soon as I saw them, they started seeing me. Just look at that movie and you'll get what I'm saying. As soon as you start waking up to the reality and the truth of this Matrix, and the Matrix movie as well, shows you about this world here. As soon as you start waking up, then you start having Agent Smiths and bots chasing you down, and realizing that you can see them for who and what they truly are. So I just wanted to really kind of just get in to, you know, how my gang stalking more than likely started. And I really had some good things, other things that I had shared in the first part and in this part too. But the audio wasn't playing in this one, so I had to record over this video, this particular audio. And I was saying also in that video how these people have tried to slander me, make it seem like something is wrong with me. And I think even they have lied and said that I have autism and that something is wrong with me and I have a speech impediment, which I don't. And have lied on me, trying to make it seem like I'm slow or I have some type of mental issues or whatever, which I don't. My only issues is being microwaved through electronic torture for years, which has affected me and my nervous system, being hunted down by a bunch of wicked, crazy, silly, immature beings, and being poisoned over and over through my food and drink over the years. So this video is about to stop, so it's coming to its end. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.